Well, welcome to another episode Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Marvin.
Dude, I'm glad to be here. So I've been following the Insta for a little bit, so I'm hyped when you were like, dude, do you want to join in?
Was
Yes.
was I impressive at all? Sometimes people like to say like I'm pretty intelligent, but I'm like, no. I want to set low expectations so they don't expect a whole lot.
Well, do you want me to be like, that was your cue? Da-na-na, da-na-na.
That's an
When you're
ESPN.
like
That's what it is.
impressive, yeah, when you're like, am I impressive? Da-na-na. Uh, dude, one of the biggest compliments I've ever got is that you're not unimpressive when people would talk about me and like what we do here. And I'm like, oh, I'll take that.
What
In a world with a lot of competition, you know,
what is what we do here?
I don't know. Oh, what do I do? Yeah, so I do a lot of things, dude. Um, so I own my own business, and I try not to say a lot, especially on our podcast. But everyone hits me with a hashtag saying "don't say." Usually when I post something about something, but yeah. So I own my own business. We do asphalt maintenance. So we've been doing it for a long time. I got employees and all the stuff that I really didn't want to get into, I now have. And it was like I was mainly the chill dude that wanted to get done early, just vibe out, go fishing, do whatever. And then younglings come along and they get you motivated to do a little bit extra. But we do a podcast too. So we do the Blacktop Banter podcast, and it's mainly all my buddies. I'm very people oriented, and it's all my buddies that own asphalt companies or asphalt maintenance companies from like all over the country. And we just talk, dude, talk about business and events and stuff we did and things like that. And we do that quite often. Once in a while, I'll actually have a really quality guest. We've had a NASCAR driver on there, a
Talking about
world,
asphalt.
yeah, asphalt. Yeah, talking about
That's a
asphalt.
freaking niche topic if I've ever heard of it, dude. Like I
Yeah,
saw the page and I was like, an asphalt podcast. I'm like, do you guys talk about the environmental issues? Do you guys talk about like honestly, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Cars, but that is true when it comes to a nice, freshly like a fresh road.
yeah.
It's like you want to be the first to drive on it. I don't know what it is. It's really smooth. It's appealing for the eyes.
Yeah, yeah, feels good. It's kind of like like putting on you open a pack of underwear and put a new pair of underwear on. You're like, dang, this is nice.
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to do anything else. I actually don't want to put the rest of my clothes on. We'll deal with the underwear for now. But, few other people try on your underwear and it's not as cool anymore. So you just deal with it. And that's how kind of with the roadways too. But yeah, we talk about the effects on the environment with some of the racers. And then we had a world champion street luge guy on there, and he was talking about, they're like inches from it, and he said you can feel everything. He said, and just when you hit a rough edge, or if you know that there's paint coming, you have to prepare yourself for hitting the paint at a high pace and stuff. And it's just some of it's just stuff that I don't think about. I mean, I always have my head down looking at asphalt just because it's part of my business, and so do my buddies and stuff that people that we talk with. But yeah, once we started getting to see how it was affecting other people, it was kind of cool to get to see that perspective and stuff like that.
I
So
didn't think I'd have a bunch of questions, but I have a bunch of questions.
yeah.
One, when you're looking at the asphalt and you're seeing it come out of the truck and being kind of like right onto the road, do you ever think about what happens if you stuck your arm under it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's hot. It's
I,
hot, dude.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's like like that game of the floor is lava.
know. Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, dude, it's like that. But like you have just maybe another second because it's not gonna roast you right away. But like back in the day, I've been doing this for a long time. This is our 16th year, and dude, this back in the day, like before like Adidas Boosts and like all these nice hard soles, like if you had foam soles, like you were done for, dude. It would melt it just down to nothing. So most of the time people wore, everyone usually was supposed to wear work boots, but once in a while you'd forget your work boots or lace would bust or
I'm
something.
thinking of like the best prank if someone just took somebody's car keys, threw it down on the road, and then somebody asphalted over it, and you're just like,
Dude,
bro.
yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, come on, man. So like, I'll give you like a couple stories. One time we got called out because we mainly do asphalt maintenance. We do a little bit of paving, but mainly we're there to fix it when it starts to deteriorate or
Yeah.
something happens. We got called out, and dude's like, something's sticking out of my blacktop, man. I'm like, All right, we'll come out and take a look. So I get out there and there's like a leather glove that must have been from whoever laid the blacktop. Wasn't
Yeah.
us, but it was hanging out with like a peace symbol, dude. And you can see the two, like the glove laid out a little bit at the bottom, and then these two fingers kind of embedded. And he was like, it wasn't even here, and the asphalt was a year old. He's like, you couldn't even see that glove last year. He's like, and now here it is. It popped right out of the top of the surface. He's like, are you guys going to remove it and help me out? So we removed it and just patched the area in. But I seen that, and then I've seen a pop bottle, like it'll fall off of a machine forward into this hopper that like lays the
Yeah.
asphalt out. So anything that goes in there, dude, it's gonna come out the backside one way or another. And so you'll see like pop bottles laying in there, and once in a while we're out, we'll see quarters, or you'll see bolts or nails or stuff like that sticking out. It's kind of crazy because it's a weird substance, because when it's warm, it's malleable, and as it cools, it just firms up super hard. And I don't know. The only thing I can think is lava, dude. That's like that. That's warm. It's a liquid, or malleable or whatever. And then when it cools, it's rock hard. So it's kind of crazy.
That's what always scared me about concrete was the fact that it's like when it's wet and like you keep it moving, it stays like, like kind of like it's still able to kind of flow. But then once it has like a minute to sit and dry, it comes rock hard. I was like, that's got to be the worst way to die, or
Oh
even
yeah,
like torture. Just the fact of like having like, you ever have your head above sand and then you can't move your arms and your legs? Like if you have an older brother or you're a psychopath and someone's got to hold your body down and you just
yeah,
can't move,
yeah,
that is the scariest shit I've ever had in my entire life, where I'm like,
yeah,
this is how I would hate to go. But like, first of all, I need you to come pave my road. I don't know what the hell kind of street I live on, but there's these giant ass potholes. And this is why I always sing the praises of Domino's. I love their crust. It's
yeah,
amazing. Oregano on the crust is a godsend. But then Domino's was like, every pizza earning that we get from a purchase, we take a little bit of that and put it in a fund, and we're going to repave potholes in your
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
neighborhood.
seen that. I seen that.
I'm like, yo, they're helping out the economy. And then you realize that's a big thing for advertisement, because on top of the pothole that they fill up, they stamp their logo. And I'm like, damn, yo, you guys literally have marked the town.
Yeah, they need. I'm pretty rural, but I would love to just see one. I'd love to see one pothole repaired with that Domino's logo right on it. You know what I mean? And
It's
just see it and be like, dang, dude, that would be epic, because you can get stencils made for whatever. Like we got one behind us that says Blacktop Banter Podcast. It's black right there. You can just get it all cut out, custom stencil. They got to get Domino's ones and just hit that, like tag it, like.
It's the smartest move ever. I mean, if you're fixing potholes and then people want to know, who is this person that has made my drive to work so damn smooth? And the
Yeah,
next thing you know, it's like you see Domino's logo, you're like, yeah, you know
yeah.
what? I'm gonna go for the cheesy crust this time. I wasn't feeling it on a Friday, but we're going cheesy crust.
You better add that extra garlic sauce. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, dude. It's kind of crazy to see some of that stuff get marketed like that. When I remember seeing that first one, dude, I was like, "You got to be shitting me! I can't believe that they're doing that. It's kind of crazy." But
I look at that and I'm like, that's what we need in this world today. It's like, let's stop building new shit and start repairing the shit we have. Like, there is so much here, at least in my
yeah,
town, like everything is just falling apart. Like,
yeah,
hell, the people are falling apart. I saw a
yeah.
woman in the street just crying and laying down on the floor. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm enjoying the beautiful warm asphalt. I was like, you're on drugs.
Was she a
Like,
snake? Was it a snake? The people are falling apart, dude. Who knows? It's the simple stuff nowadays, dude. Laying on asphalt, looking out the window on a clear day, all and the way the world's in, the shape that it's in, people are just happy for the simple things. And if it's just laying on warm asphalt because your body's falling apart, like, do you need help? No, I'm perfect. All
I
right.
threw my hip out. I thought I was gonna hate laying on this asphalt, but it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, 2 weeks in and I'm still loving it. It's like, all right, lady, go get some water, something. Louise, Louise. Yeah, Robbie, where you live at?
I live out in Maryland.
Oh, I
Not
got
not Baltimore, Ocean City.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, so you're not as rural as I am. You probably have a better chance of seeing Domino's potholes than I do.
Honestly, our Domino's burned down.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what Greek lightning is. I'm pretty sure that's like an insurance thing, because it
Yeah,
was a sunny day, so there was no
yeah,
way any lightning hit it. But we had
yeah.
our Wendy's burned down and then our Domino's. I think it's like a Papa John's like cult type thing, to be honest with you. Like, because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why is everything I love dying? I don't understand what's going on with my life. And people are like, the greatest things you love are Wendy's and Domino's. I'm like, yeah. And if I say the other one, then it's definitely going to burn down. And that's fucking Arby's. And if that happens, I'm rioting. I don't care who's out there. I'm rioting.
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. If anything burns down with horseradish sauce in it, I'm cool. That
You're a
don't bother
fan of
me.
the horseradish?
No, if it burns down with it, I'm cool. I don't know how that exists. I don't know how people eat horseradish.
Now, what? Okay, so when you're making cocktail sauce for shrimp, there's horseradish in that, right?
I believe so.
Is that what makes my eyes burn so bad when I smell
Yes.
horseradish sauce?
Yes.
What is that?
I don't. It's a. I'm gonna say it's a root. I think. Like we were last week we were out having a couple drinks, and around here, like I said, we're rural, so people are always like, "Oh, we pickle our own cucumbers and we mash our own tomatoes, and then we keep it forever." A dude was sitting at the bar with a thing of horseradish in a little mason jar. He was like, "You want some?" I'm like, "No, never have I ever
Yeah.
wanted this. If you crack the lid on that thing, I'm out of here." Like, just the aroma enough is going to spoil my afternoon and maybe my morning.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen somebody do? Because I've seen, like you just said, the horseradish thing. So I saw a
Yeah,
person that had a thing of ketchup and they were taking the peanuts at the bar and they were just dipping it in the ketchup. And I'm
yeah,
like, that's really fucking strange. Like,
yeah.
you might be a psycho killer. But then I also got called out because I went to a bar and they didn't have, like, I got a salad and they didn't have dressing for their salad. I'm like, what the
How? Why even have one?
why didn't you tell me that when I ordered it? Like, no dressing, so I grabbed ketchup and I used it as a dressing on my salad, which is like, it's tomatoes, but people are like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, how is it weird?
You know what's weird is there's no sauce in this restaurant. That's
Yeah.
what's weird. That's what's weird. First of all, we're gonna be judging. There's a dude dipping peanuts up there, and I'm putting the same stuff he's dipping in, so the dipping sauce that is ketchup, on my salad as a dressing. So
At this
not
point, I
only
was like, we're all going to hell. I'm just
that's
saying.
it. Maybe you were there. Maybe that was there. If there's a salad with no dressing, that was there. But if you were there, it would have been horseradish there too. So it probably wasn't hell, but it was probably like purgatory for a little bit, and then you
Honest-
bounce back.
Honestly, I looked at the waitress and I was like, why didn't you tell me there was no dressing? And she was like, I don't know. I just didn't think of it. I'm like, I ordered a salad, like nothing else, no fries, nothing else you had to remember. It's
That's
just me
crazy.
here. I'm sitting alone. I'm alone as a person. So where was
That's
where
crazy.
was the condiment question?
Yeah, and how and where do you work at a place where there's no dressing, and you're like, oh, that's normal. There's no need for me to bring that up to any customer at
Not
all.
even like a little bit of ranch, or I'll take a balsamic vinaigrette, and I fucking hate that shit. I
No,
walk down Walmart and I'm looking at all the salad dressings. I'm like, are we in France? What are
yeah,
we doing?
you like have to pour coffee creamer on there, dude. That's gonna be the closest you're gonna get to a
Yo, that doesn't sound too bad. Like, I've been pretty high and
they cover the
pretty
ketchup, and
creative.
it's almost gonna be like French, but really it's not. It's just ketchup and creamer. So it's
It's like
one of
eating a
those things.
Thin Mint. It's just toothpaste. I can replace it with toothpaste. You're getting the same effect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For real, and have the same effect. You're right. You're right. I want to go back to the person that is just ecstatic with dipping peanuts into ketchup. Like, what are they doing regularly that's living? Like, that's their wild moment. Is like, guess what? This is happening.
It's fucking Saturday night.
Oh my God, he's back, dude. He's eating those peanuts again. This guy's wild. This guy's
Honestly, that's probably the simplest life, though. Imagine being so happy that you can eat peanuts with
yeah,
ketchup and
yeah.
not have a worry in the world. I'm jealous of that guy. Like, I'm jealous of like the person on the street that's like chasing a butterfly. He might be mentally challenged, but I look at it like, yo, you don't have any worries. You have nothing in your head
No,
that is going on. Like, you don't have to worry about
no,
bills. I'm like,
no.
that's what we got to be as people.
Yeah, dude, he could trip over a lady on blacktop laying down and join it and just keep hop right up. That butterfly ain't gonna be that fast. He'll go ahead and catch it.
I really
He'll
want to go
catch up.
back to that lady though. Like, why the fuck was she laying there for so? She was there for a good amount of time.
Sometimes people say the smell of asphalt to some people is almost like an aphrodisiac, man. And if
Really?
this lady's old enough to where she hurt her hip, maybe it had been a while, and maybe she was just reflecting on, oh God, back in the day, 1962, I was in you know, up by Portland, Maine, and they were laying the road, and I was just a young so and so back then. Maybe it took her back, bro. You don't know.
First off, hold on a second.
I
You're
painted a
telling
picture, bro. I painted a picture.
like Picasso, you're telling me I could have got laid more than that asphalt. Second of all, creating backstories for people in your mind is never a good thing.
Oh,
Where so where I used to work out at this little gym facility, there was a dude that would come in. He would wear a camo, like a camo tank top, and he
yeah,
had no freaking legs. So
right,
my brain goes, he must have lost it in the war.
right.
Diabetes.
And
My
he just
level of
had
respect
the
for that
camo
man
on,
had
so no,
dropped.
he just had the camo on so no one could see him.
He was on a bike where like apparently they have a cycle, but it's where you use your hands. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
does that still
Absolutely.
burn the same amount of calories, or does that guy have to work twice as hard?
I don't know. I think it would matter if you were doing a handstand while doing it, but if you're sitting down doing it, I mean, I've seen people on recumbent bikes just sitting on their ass pedaling, and it's like, dude, you're not really. There's no cardio going on here. Like it's a low. I see your heart rate monitor. It says 89, dude. Like,
You're eating a
geez.
jar of Skippy while
Yeah,
you're on the cycle bike.
yeah. You don't want to get too out of hand, otherwise the TV's gonna shake on there. So relax, dude.
Look, I'm not gonna knock those people for being on the cycle bike and do that because I had a cycle bike in my room
Yeah.
and I
The
played.
recumbent one where you sit down like and you put your hands to the
No,
side
no,
and
no. This
oh
was
yeah,
the
that's
full
what I'm
on.
talking about.
You have to
No,
sit
I'm
up
talking
on.
about the one that's made by Lazy Boy.
I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops
Yeah.
Zombies on
Yes.
that bike, and I did 6 hours like it was nothing. Just in a game of zombies, I'm just playing it mindlessly. Just went through. I was like, holy crap! Like I've been on this thing for almost 6 hours.
Dude, we were playing Black Ops, I believe, my cousin and I. And he's insane at it since retired. But dude, you would hear him in the mic going like, ah, ugh. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? First of all, he's moping at everybody. And then he's like, I'm lifting weights. I'm like, dude, how are you lifting weights? Like, how are you lifting weights? He's like, well, I just uh put band over my arms while I'm holding the controller, and I just lift up while I'm playing. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
Just buy a fucking Wii. Like
Yeah,
that's the whole point of the Wii is
I
to move and
couldn't
play.
believe it. I was like, and not only that, his ratio was just killing mine. Like he was getting every chest, like Black Ops Zombies, dude. He was getting every chest, and all I can think was like, dude, not only is he looking this way, but also his hands are going this way. Wow, in a parallel universe that is Call of Duty, he's going 3D that way. It was just like, why? Just wait. He's like, well, I never quit playing. I got to do something. It's like, all right, dude, fair enough.
Get level
Yeah,
of respect to that man.
yeah, yeah. He was insane, dude. We
I
played a
remember
lot of Call of Duty, dude.
I remember everybody used to complain about GameStop for the fact of like, oh, it's so uncomfortable when I go to GameStop. I'll tell you something. Just the other day,
Uncomfortable for what? Uncomfortable for what?
I guess people buying video games, like it's just so weird. Like, would you like to pre-order? I'm like, no, I
Oh,
just want to buy this game and then I want to get out. Well, let me tell you about our exclusive bonus deals. And if you give me your email, I'm like, hang on a second. Why do I need my email? That's a problem I have with stores. You want to hear a rant?
just say no. Say no.
They don't make it that easy.
Dude, they're persuasive. Dude, I asked a guy the other day. I was at REI, right? I was buying a hat, and the dude was like, "Who helped you on the floor?" I said, "Nobody." Oh, no associate helped you on the floor? I was like, "No, I know what hat I wanted. I walked to it, picked it up, and brought it back." He was like, "Oh, well, hi,
That's
I'm so and
illegal.
so." Yeah, yeah. He was like, "Hi, I'm so and so." I said, "Yeah, I see your name." I think it was like Jim or something. I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Well, I'm glad I could help you today." So he put his own name in. So then I was like, dude, are you getting like, do people get commission off of this or what? Huh? I'm like, well, what is, they just keep track of who's doing what and if they're helping people on the floor or whatever. And I knew that they did that kind of thing because I went there like a couple weeks before and get a new pack. I like to hike when I get free time. And dude, I couldn't even make the loop on the store. Every single associate said, let me tell you about our membership. Has anyone talked to you? And I'm like, yeah, everyone has. I get up to the register and they're like, who helped you out with your membership? And I said, everybody. And they're like, no, like specifically. I'm like, no, everybody did. Everybody in the whole store. And he was like, well, we'll just go ahead and check you out then. So
Even
if
that
you say
lady
like
out there on the
everybody, yeah,
blacktop, she's laying down. She helped me too.
yeah, the lady, the greeter that made sure that I wear my mask, she's the one that really helped. She's the one that really helped. Yeah, dude, I don't know if they get like a commission or what, but even for your email, they're like, do you have an email? And I'm like, no, you don't
Well,
have
just
no
make one
email.
up. It's like, what the fuck? Why don't
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
type
Make
one in
one up.
for me?
Yeah, make one up. That's what I like. Just whatever.
It's like,
You know.
I need to give you my email to buy a pair of socks. It's like, yeah, it's important. It's like, but you're just going to send me updates that I have to unsubscribe to later. But I never unsubscribe because I'm too lazy. So then I just
Yeah,
keep getting this fucking email that pisses me off every time it comes in.
yeah. They send you an email, the first one where it's like giveaway coming up soon, and you're like, all right, I'll hang out for this cool giveaway. It happens to be shit that I like, and then all of a sudden, like a month later, you're like, did they even do the giveaway yet? Because I got 80 emails since that first one, but I don't want to cancel these emails because I could be the winner if it hasn't come through yet. What a gig, dude!
That's like the
What a pyramid scheme! What a email pyramid scheme
It's
they're
like
running.
the lottery. It's like you keep playing, hoping you win, but you're never
Yeah.
winning.
Meanwhile, your inbox is 1,238 emails after 2 days, and you're just like, what am I doing with my life?
When someone comes at me and says that my email is has like two new emails in it, I'm like, what do you mean two new emails? I have like 10,000 unread emails that I just can't keep track of because like everything requires a fucking email now. And then
Yeah,
I have so many emails that are like password resets because I forget it, and then I go to
dude, I
spend
do too.
a 30-minute process trying to reset it. And then finally I remember it. So then it sends all the stuff over to resend it. And it's like, oh, sorry, we already sent you a new link. It's like, oh, God, I just put that
Dude,
one in.
so I did that the other day for Facebook. For some reason, it wouldn't let me get in, and it was like we'll send you a code to reset it. So they sent the code and email. I typed the code in right, and it says pick a new password. So I picked one, and they were like, you can't enter an old password. That popped up. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll put in a different one. Put in a different one. Like, you can't enter a previous password. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna add numbers at the end and beginning. And they're like, you can't put in a previously used password. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. So finally, like, I was just like, this must be broke. Like this algorithm, like this part of this program must be broke. So I put in just hot sauce and random numbers, and it went success. I have no idea what my password is besides hot sauce.
Oh my
Whatever the
God.
numbers are, they just are. So if this happens again, I'm gonna have to put in a different one. But dude, I just put in. I don't even know why I put in hot sauce, but now I'm stuck with this password that And then I go to like my other accounts because like the password has changed on my Mac and it's changed on my tablet and changed on my other phone or whatever. So now they're all like, "What's your new password?" And it's like, "Shit, I guess I'm just signing in on Facebook from one thing for a while." It's just gonna have to chill on every other platform or
This
every.
this literally just happened to me 2 days ago. So if you can't tell, my wisdom teeth on my right side have swollen my jaw up. But the other day, it looked like I got punched by Mike Tyson. Like my mouth was just out there. And someone's like,
Yeah,
"Why don't you get your doctor or go to the doctors or something to be able to get some medication for it?" So I'm like, forgot my password. And they're like, "What?" So I spent all night trying to get my password. And they give you that fucking thing that's like, click all the traffic lights in this picture. I'm like, click, 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 click. Wrong. Here's another picture. I'm like, can you get, and then they give you the code and then you type in the code and it's like, sorry, wrong code. I'm like, I can't read it. It's too damn hard to read. I don't know if that's a 3 or an E. You have it backwards. Is that a backwards 3? What am I
yeah.
supposed to say?
Or it's so faint. Yeah, it's
Eh.
like a
So I'm sitting there like, all right, I need to get amoxicillin. It's an antibiotic. It's going to help with the swelling. So it's like reset your My Pen Care. I'm like, all right. Typing in my username, typing in the password. Wrong. Okay. Send me a new link. We send it to if the email is correct and the username is correct, we'll send it to your email. I said okay. So clicked it. Waited an hour. I didn't get an email. I was like, all right, let me try it again. Then here's maybe it's this username off by one fucking number. I waited 8 hours for an email. I finally got it because they weren't sending it because it wasn't the proper information since it's a medical thing. It has my social security on there. I'm like, okay, so what do I need to do now to get the thing? So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do this. So I type in my password, everything to reset, and it says, all right, now make a password. I had to save it in my phone. I was like, all right, looks like I'm doing this. Went to go type it in the other day. My phone didn't save it. So now I don't remember the password. I had to go through the whole process all over again. At this point, I was like, guess I'm not getting the medication for it. I don't care. I'll deal with the pain. People are like, your mouth's still swollen. I'm like, yeah, fuck insurance. Like I was just walking out the door.
Hey, but dude, in the Wild West, they didn't have that. You know, they're like, here, chew on this root. You're like, oh shit.
Like
All right,
pulling
fine.
out something like
Yeah,
ginger. Like what the hell is that?
piece of leather. Chew on that leather. Tuck that in there. Dude, do you think that, Robbie? You think that like like purposely, as we're supposedly getting more intelligent and technology is getting more advanced, it's getting more difficult. We should just be, it should be a breeze to do this shit that we're having trouble with. I'm at first, like when they were talking about technology, like everyone's gonna get a chip, blah blah blah, whatever. And I'm like, dude, I would never do that. I'm not doing that kind of shit. There's been times where the frustration level's been high enough where I'm like, take my DNA, cut a finger off, just let me get past this barrier, whether it's email or password or whatever the hell it is.
I've chucked my phone across a room over
Dude,
Dragon City. Okay, that is a fucking child's game, and I'm 22 and I play that. I've spent more money on that game than any Christmas present I've ever bought for anybody, and I'm a very generous person when it comes to that.
yeah,
But it's too insane. Like the fact of, I think technology is a major grasp on everybody, but the password, all this stuff is way too damn complicated. Now it's to the point, like back in the day, it was like just type in a random word. Okay, I have a fucking different username, email, password for my Xbox account to my Zoom accounts, all these different accounts, and I don't know the password for any of them.
I
Dude,
know.
if you want the easiest thing I have a code for is my bank card where I keep all my freaking money, okay? And
Oh,
if you know that code, and if I even give you the hint to it, you're gonna know my bank account thing because it's so freaking obvious. And I'm like,
sure.
that's the easiest thing I can remember because I can't remember my password, which is uppercase, lowercase,
Yes.
sideways digit, Romanian
Numbers,
sign, Bulgarian language letter, and then like 30
double
other.
helix. Yeah, double helix. Get that in there.
Fuck.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Like, there has to be an easier way than just like,
There
dude,
is.
my bank,
Be
like my
Mormon.
be Mormon
Be a
or Amish.
Mormon or Amish. Those people don't have
Amish.
a damn care
No, no,
for a
no. Dude,
password.
let me tell you a story real quick. Dude, I love that we just transitioned from one thing to the next to the next.
Welcome to
So
the
now we're on
podcast.
Amish. So I'll tell you two stories real quick. So we're in Amish country a little bit. North of us, you'll get in some Amish country here in Wisconsin. And about a year ago, my son, he is 9 now. So it was probably a couple of years ago. He's probably 7. Uh, we go over this hill, right? And you can see like there's traffic stopped. So this traffic stop, there's a truck pulled to the right and a guy going like this, dude. Like, so I'm like, oh, dude, something's up with that guy. And I look over and there's a bunch of Amish standing in a circle, right? And then I just see like a cart over there by it. So we slow down and you just see an Amish dude like laid out, face down, dude, in the grass, arms to the side, like you said, looked like Mike Tyson went boom boom, and dude would just went good night. Well, you get a little bit closer and you see this Amish cart has like you remember when like kindergarten when they had the chairs that were just like made out of plastic with the metal legs,
Yeah.
just the small ones. That's what the dude must have been in, the Amish dude on this cart riding it, and the dude in the Ford must have hit him because he was like, oh no, whatever. So there's this Amish guy laying there face down, right? We get going by and my little dude's like, is that guy dead? I said, kind of look like it because it was a fresh accident. You know, like what are the Amish going to do? Who are they going to call? They don't
Get
have
the
something.
oil. Get the oil. Amish people carry a Mormon little oil lantern thing around their neck that they can't use on themselves, but they use it on other people, and it brings them. It's supposed to
Wow.
bring the person back to life because they can't do the medical thing. They don't. They
Well, they
don't
must have
believe in
used
that.
it to fry eggs and bacon that morning, dude, because it wasn't there. Because they were just standing around looking like you were thinking that they were like, "Who's gonna pick this guy up?" And they were going, "Wow, damn it,
They must have hated that fucking guy.
dude,
That's what it
dude."
was.
Yeah, it probably was. They're like, "Dude, we wished this on him, didn't we?" So, anyways, we get by, right? We get by a little bit. And my little dude's like, "I just see my first dead body. I see my first dead body." So he was like having this revelation, right? And he's pretty funny, but we get maybe 2 miles down the road. Then he's like, I figured it out. I said, figured out what? And he's like, I figured out why that guy got hit. Why is it? He only had 1 horsepower. He couldn't get out of the way of that truck. And I was like,
Damn.
dude, I was like, oh my God. And he's like, should I not said that? I said, do you know that thing where they say too soon? I said, that was really too soon, dude.
Yo, you should have encouraged him. That's a comedian right there,
So,
bro. I
so
would have been
later
like,
on,
yo, we getting you stand up. Dave Chappelle opening.
so we go up to my dad and he's like, Pops, I shouldn't tell you this, but this is what happened today. So he told my dad, my dad's like, Like, and it was like, my dad's like, oh, I felt terrible about laughing about that because somebody got injured. He's like, but gosh, that kid to think of that, just crazy. But on a side note, last Amish part of it. So me and my little dude again, no filter. Kid has no filter. He's quick. He thinks sharp. We go up to this little Amish store because we want to get like, dude, the Amish make the best sweets,
Butter.
dude. Everything is gallons of butter in it. So like when you get cashew brittle or peanut brittle, you're just like, oh my god, this is heaven, dude. So we stop there because he wants some. We walk in, and this was recently, and he was like, got ready to put his mask on. And he looks in, he's like, looks over to the dude, and he's like, do we need to put our mask on? And the Amish dude's like, no, you don't have to. We don't have COVID. And Eli's like, oh, you guys don't have COVID? And he's like, no, we don't have TVs. And turn around, walked away. I was like, oh, dang,
No,
cold,
that was my biggest fear was when this thing
cold.
happened. I was like, somebody tell the Amish they don't have shit to know what's going on.
Dude, you can't, they're not worried about that, dude. Walls fall on those dudes out there, and they're like, oh, gosh, somebody get him straight, get some two sticks and tie a rope around it.
I said if life got too far, like where it's going to be like Wally, where it's going to end up like we have beds I mean, we do
Yeah,
have beds that sit up for us, but we just like never leave our bed or something, that I'd
yeah.
have to go into an Amish lifestyle, man, because I can't get the Neuralink. I can't do these types of, I don't even, I sold my Google Home. I had it in a box for 2 years. I was like, I don't want something talking to me. You know
Oh,
how I talk to myself? Next thing I know, things recording me, like conversations I have. I don't even want to hear those things back.
I do. I'm in. Like, if I'll narrow link up, whatever. Let me see. If Musk comes up and he's like, "Well, we need somebody to test this out," I would say, "All right, dude, throw it in. Let's see what happens." Because like, if they throw it in and all of a sudden I'm connected to everything, everybody better watch out. Especially if I'm the first one, bro. Especially if I'm the first one, I'm like, "Well, see ya. I know everything about all of everybody."
I get nervous about people hacking it, but then I got nervous when a doctor came out with a survey that he took about people that were waking up from surgery. And when they were waking up from surgery, the first thing people guys would usually do is, what's the first thing you check if you wake up from a surgery?
Me,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know my legs most of the time.
Really? You wouldn't check your
Yeah.
dick?
No, I don't.
Well, most of the time the guys most of the time the guys
No.
are checking their dick when
No.
they wake up. They're like, oh my god, making sure it's still there, making sure you got
Oh,
that, and then everything else.
yeah.
Well, now the doctor took the census survey, and most people were checking their phones, and I'm like, oh my god, it's more important
That
than your
is
dick.
true. It is true. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, most of the time I move my legs. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta make sure these things are still working.
You
Because
sound like me when I went to the chiropractor. I've been deathly afraid of chiropractics, and I went like a month ago. Dude, this guy's like, watch this. Takes my like a leg, puts it over my other leg, and then leans on it, and it doesn't make a noise. And I'm like, was something supposed to happen? He goes, now compare it to your other side. And then he goes and does it onto the other side. It makes the loudest pop, and immediately I start moving my fingers and toes. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm just making sure that I'm not going to be in a wheelchair blowing into a whistle for the rest of my life.
yeah, yeah. Having it draw for you, blowing into it. I got you. We had I had a chiropractor right here that I go to, and dude, I never went forever. And then one day my back was killing me. I'm like, dude, maybe I should just go because everyone's like, oh, you feel so much better. You feel so much better. And like I don't know how yours is. Like we got two tables. One is kind of like that Wally bed you're talking about, where you
Yeah.
lay like this, and then they go lay you down on that thing, and then it like moves in different parts of this bed. I don't know if that's to give leverage on certain shit.
It's the drop. They drop certain parts down too. It's supposed to
Yeah,
help. Yeah.
give that, and it's like, well, like every time like he has my neck, he's like, that's cool. Like he's done that every time. So we've went through the same routine. I've been there probably 12 times. But every time he like drops that part like right below where your crotch is, and then like your legs are kind of up a little bit and your back, and then he's just like boom, and you can hear like I don't know, dude. It sounds like someone has a rubber mallet like hitting a table.
Yeah.
Boom, and nothing ever pops ever. Never ever does
Really?
anything ever feel any better. But he takes me to that table where you're like where he lays your leg over you and then like leans on you and cracks you. But dude, finally the last time we were there, I'm like, listen, man, is that thing supposed to do something when you like on that other table, like when you really hammer my lower back? And he's like, yeah, he's like, that's setting your lumbar or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's an adjustment.
I'm probably like, dude, I'm pretty sure like nothing has ever popped. Like I've never felt any better after that thing.
I
But I'm
think
like,
that's might be
well,
your issue of where you have problems in your back because he never touches my neck. I make sure that doesn't happen, but my
yeah,
issue's in my lower part where my tailbone is.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah,
into a bad jet ski accident like 5 years ago. I almost
yeah.
died, so my spine kind of formed wrong through all these
Uh-huh,
years.
uh-huh.
So when he cracks, it's mostly in the lower part. But when he drops that table, dude, it makes the loudest pop. Where I'm like, I gotta make sure I can still walk. Let me stand up real quick. He's like, lay down. I'm not done. I'm like, hold on a second.
I was hoping that maybe like they'd get a table where there was like a void where your crotch was, but not so much where your crotch is, just kind of like your pelvis or something. And there would be a way to like push up without mashing your junk. And then your back would be like, it'd push out in that spot where it like curves in. And maybe that sucker would go, and then,
Break your
dude,
dick
I
bone.
yeah, dude, I hope it don't. I hope it don't. But if it doesn't and it cracks out, dude, I'll be dancing like Fred Astaire, bro. I'll
Did
just be like,
you ever see? All right, so do you ever do the electromagnetic stuff they put on your back muscles and try and move the like stimulate your muscles?
no, but I seen one. I watched a Bert Kreischer thing
Yeah,
on
the
Netflix, dude, where
cabin.
he hooks it to the acupuncture,
Yeah,
and it was just like going crazy and going wild. The only thing I've ever done like that is that back in the day, my friend's ma had one of those ab things where you like put the jelly on and then you put it on you and it makes abs.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, if anyone sees my physique, it did not help, but we put it on without the jelly, dude. You might as well. It was just like somebody was just sticking wires to you right out of the light socket, dude. And your body was like, oh shit, and like you'd take it off, and you'd have pink belly, your own pink belly that you did
Yeah.
yourself, dude. It was like shit, man. Did you do the electric?
Yeah,
Like,
what this feels like is like if someone took like your knuckle and stuck it into wherever they put the sensor on and then just slowly starts rotating it like around in a circle. Well, he's turning it up and he's like, if it becomes too much, let me know. If like it's supposed to feel like you just can't handle it, but you can still manage it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm thinking like I'm gonna be a fucking man and let him turn it up and not say anything. And he got it to like an 8, dude. And then I was like, oh my God, like this is killing me. And he's like, is that good? I'm like, yeah, yeah, this is perfect. I can handle this. He fucking left for like 15 minutes. So I'm sitting there in fucking pain and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And didn't place the
oh,
sensors on in all the correct spots. So near the
what's
lower
burning?
part where
I
I
smell
need,
something burn. Something's
yeah,
burning. I smell
well,
something
look, yeah, something's burning, but
burning.
literally in the lower part of where my hip bones are, he didn't connect them properly. So the one he really did get was the one where I have the most pain, and that's in
Yeah,
my back part of my lat.
yeah.
Yo, I was just feeling it in that one where afterwards my arm was numb. I was driving home,
Walking
palming the
around like
steering wheel with my face, yo. I was
he's
like,
like, dude, look at this guy leaning in there, bro. He's really loving this ride. Like,
I was calling his name for like 15 minutes. I was like, yo, where are you at right now? Like, I'm dying.
dude, that's wild. We never did that. I had when I was young, I got stung by a bee, like right, I think it was in the armpit, and like my throat started to swell up. So then like back in the day, like, dude, this is like torture. Like when I think about this, I'm like, why first of all, why would people do this? But I had to go to the doctor then when they found out that I was allergic to it. And they take like I can remember I laid on my belly and they had all these little patches, pop, 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 and they had a tiny needle on them. And each one of these patches were things that human beings could be allergic to. So they're just like, there must have been like 50 of them, dude, or 60 on this, on my back as a kid. And it was just these little tiny needles with like all the stuff. Well, they'd peel one off to see if I was having a reaction, peel another one off, peel another one off. And like I didn't have that much reaction, but I had like to certain bees, they listed whatever bees it was. So here I am, like swelling up, bro, waiting for an EpiPen, like shoot me. And then I had pollen and different kind of medicines or whatever, which the medicines wasn't anything. But the problem was, is they did all the bees in one row. So like going down one side, dude, it was just a huge old welt, dude, like that. And that thing was raised up. So I'm riding back, like, my grandma, I'm like, I can't really sit down, grandma. I'm leaning back against the chair and like I'm leaning this way because like my back's all swelled out on one side. And I always thought, like, dude, what a torturous thing to do. Like, why not be like, listen, you're gonna come in one, 30 times, and we're just gonna put one on each hand, and then we'll see, hey, next week, come on in, try that one. Whatever. Like they thought like I was gonna go out and get into all this shit that people are allergic to, like immediately must have. Be like, well, we need to find out what he's got right now, dude. I remember like they put me on prednisone, which was like supposed to help with allergies or some shit like
Yeah.
that. Dude, it tasted like earwax, like dude, like concentrated earwax. It was
How
the
do you know what
worst,
earwax tastes like?
dude. It's gross. It's gross.
You know, they have one person probably that has like allergic to everything, like the sun, grass. Like, you ever meet that kid in school that's like, "Well, kids, we can't have peanuts in this class because we have someone that's allergic to them." I'm like, "All right, well, I
Yeah.
guess that's no peanut butter cookies or anything, or peanut butter sandwiches for me then." Also, we can't have anybody that has grass, any other things that's gluten, vegan,
So and so's
keto,
a
primal.
diabetic. Yeah, she's a diabetic. You can't have sugars either. That's not fair.
Like,
It's
my
like, you know
cousin's
what,
a diabetic and we just don't give him any.
dude? You ever see? So to answer your first question about earwax, I wear glasses and I itch my ear, and then like sometimes I'll be thinking, I'll be like, oh, oh,
Bro,
oh,
God.
God. Not so much anymore, but when I was young, anyways. But anyways, to talk about like stuff in class, you can't have this, you can't have that. You ever seen that movie with Robin Williams, Hook? Where
Yeah.
he so that's what it's gonna be like, dude. You're just gonna be eating imaginary food, dude. Going when they're at that table and they're just like, "Whoa, here we go!" Oh, and then
The-
he's like, "You want some?" He's like, "No, I'm full. I'm full." It's
there
all imaginary food. That's what we're gonna be having. Like, what'd you have? Oh man, Oreos and milk, peanut butter.
so there's these diet bloggers on Instagram, and this person has like, "I'm gluten free, vegan free, primal free, and like everything free." I'm like, I just messaged him. I was like, "What the fuck do you eat? Air? Like,
Yeah,
is that it? Like, is that like what's the diet trend? Do you filter feed like SpongeBob?"
yeah. I don't know, dude. All I know is once in a while I'll get stuff, which I'm sure you probably do on Insta, where it's like, especially where I know you told me you work at a gym and stuff, and sometimes for some reason, like I'll look up something, whether it be like the other day I worked up like looked up what are the best hiking slash running shoes, right? And then that led me to something else where it was like, well, if you're going to be doing cardio, this is the diet you should follow. I was like, whatever. Next thing I know on Instagram, there's this thing where it's like um, keto cookies or something like that or whatever. And I was like, dude, I don't know. I'd try that. So I click it, it was like more info. There's a tab at the bottom that says more info. So I hit it and it was like 12 cookies, 28.99. I'm like, what the F is going on here?
Putting gold in them cookies?
Yes. So it's like that lady that you were talking about, primal free, vegan free, whatever free. It's like you're pretty much just eating nothing, sand, and then they're like charging you ungodly amount of numbers for it for you just to enjoy it.
I will sing the praises of the cheapest food out there, and anybody complains about why is food or all this stuff so expensive. No, no, no. Can of tuna is 90 cents. And I have mercury poisoning because of can of tuna. My doctor literally said, "Hey, so you know why you feel fatigue all the time? You know why you're like depressed all the time?" I'm like, "Yeah, life sucks." He goes, "Yeah, it's also a sign of mercury poisoning." I was like,
Really?
"Really?" He
I've
goes,
never
"Yeah,
been
it's
there.
muscle loss, hair loss, all these other types of things." He goes, "All you got to do, Robbie, is just one day or 2 days, just skip a can of tuna, and your levels will start coming back to normal." And I'm like, "Look, it's good as shit. You put a little, you,
He's
you
just justifying it in your
I'm,
brain. You start
I'm
justifying, like, dude, I'd rather just not eat something in between and then you go back to the can of tuna the day after.
He's like, be a kid your age, stop eating clean, try maybe a burger or something, try it up. I'm like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Egg whites, tuna, that's my meal plan, man. I'll have a chicken breast here and there, but I have to have my can of tuna. It's a day. It's cheap as shit. I'm
Yeah.
a cheap person when it comes to a lot of things that I buy. I save up for expensive stuff, and I'm like, look, man, can of tuna. He's like, this can kill you. I was like, then that seems like a right way to die, being frugal
Yeah.
with my money. Okay, I've seen people that pass out head first onto asphalt. That's not a good way to go.
But meanwhile, he's like, as long as you keep it to 5 or 6 drinks a week, you're gonna be okay. You know, that's how they are. They're like, you got to quit doing that. I watched. I think I seen I don't know. Internet, dude. Everything's on the internet and on
Yeah,
Instagram.
a
So
lot
I
of
mean,
good stuff.
more than likely, that's where I see everything. This is all I have time for. But I seen where there was some girl where all she was like in the UK or something. All she ate was ramen noodles, like her whole life. Dude, her skin. When you pull a ramen noodle pack open and it's like off white, but it's kind of white, but it's not. It needs something. It needs some beef. It needs some of that tan beef thrown in on those ramen noodles. Hers didn't look like that. She literally was eating chicken ramen noodles only, and her body looked like one. Like her skin looked like one. And they're like, and she's perfectly healthy. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that's the
There's like
only
not
unnutritious thing you're getting.
there's not even
Sodium maybe.
nutrition in that.
I have no clue. Dude, she looks weird. I wish we could bring it up. She looks weird. I
I
mean, just
give a praise to her for the fact if she figured out those chicken and beef packets. I never even figured that shit out.
dude. So she was like, they're like, do you mix it up or whatever? And she was like, no, it's only chicken. Only the chicken flavored ones. That's
Okay.
it.
I mean, she's got a flavor. That's like me and Honey Smacks. Like I got salmonella off Honey Smacks and I still buy them.
Yeah, I did. Oh, you I did like Sugar Smacks like a shit ton.
No, I'm Honey Smacks with the frog.
Oh, I thought that was Sugar Smacks.
No, there's the bear, and then there's the real version, which is Dig'em the frog.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I got salmonella poisoning, and I sent them an email saying, "Hey, I got salmonella poisoning off you guys. I still eat your cereal because you're the only one I'll spend $5 for." And they said, "Oh, sorry, we're not going to sponsor your podcast." And I said, "You know what? Fucking, you just made an enemy, my friend."
Toucan Sam's gonna be
Look, it was
rubbing
around
it
the
in your
look.
face. Toucan Sam's gonna be rubbing this in your
It
face.
was around the time the romaine lettuce had a giant recall on it.
Yep.
So the day before, I went to the store and I was doing really good at work. I was saving up my money, and all I do is work, go home. I don't really go out and party. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, wow, it's $5 for a box of Honey Smacks. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna treat myself. I've been having a rough day, and I'm gonna treat myself. So I bought this cereal, dude. Every bowl I ate, I got massively sick. I went to Walmart the next day. I walk in, the guy's like, I'm like, where's all the lettuce? I need to buy stuff for my salad so I can put ketchup on it. He goes, oh, yeah, there's a recall on the lettuce. It has salmonella poisoning. And I'm like, damn, man, I got sick last night, but it wasn't from the lettuce I ate because I got it a week ago. He goes, yeah, well, that and Honey Smacks are the two that have salmonella poisoning. I'm like, what did you just say? He goes, yeah, didn't you come here yesterday and get a box of Honey Smacks? I'm like, I did, and I got massively sick. He goes, you should probably throw it out. It has salmonella poisoning. Dude, I ate the whole fucking box because I spent $5 on that cereal. You live by the Smacks, you die by the Smacks.
Like, listen, if I already got it, yeah, like, is there a ratio of more salmonella? Like, is it possible to get more salmonella, or is it just a thing?
You just keep getting sick, dude. I
Yeah,
was every bowl, I was
the
taking it like a
duration.
champ, yo.
The duration, dude. We had I must have had the off-brand Sugar Smacks or whatever. We were sitting. I was over at my cousin's house when I was younger, and they had a McDonald's booth that they like built their kitchen around. Like that's what they had for like where they would sit down and eat. And we were playing video games. This was way back in the day, dude. So we were playing like Mario Paint and Stunt Race FX, all these crazy video games. And he's like, see how many of those, and we were sitting across from each other, right? And there's walls behind each of us. He's like, see how much you can fit in your mouth. I was like, I'll take that challenge, bro. I'll take that challenge. So I just start piling these in, right? And I'll tilt my head back and was like swallowing the milk, but then piling more of these sugar smacks in, dude, till it was like coming out, like filling in where my teeth are. It was full like that. Dude, as soon as I'm full, he's like, can you fit any more in? I went, mm-mm. And he went, don't fart in my nose. Just randomly said that, dude. Immediately, I immediately I went, and
Like,
just, and he's sitting right across from me, dude. Literally hit the wall behind him, right? So he slides over, gets out of the way, and there's a perfect silhouette, dude, of his head because the rest of them hit him right in the face and in the chest and all behind there, right? So he like gets out of the way. He runs to the bathroom to like clean himself off or whatever. I don't even move. I just sat there. This was by that time, like you were saying, it's not like you're gonna stop to clean up this mess that already happened when there's smacks in front of you already. So I'm sitting here eating. He comes back, looks at me, looks at the wall, starts laughing because he sees the silhouette of his head outside here, and he's like, "This is my fault." He's like, "It's my fault." He's like, "We're never gonna forget this." We still talk about that to this day. Him saying that because like whenever somebody takes a drink of something or takes a bite of something, he just says, "Don't fart in my nose." But he only says it, between him and I. And he's like, I said, "Why did you say that?" He said, "That's all I could think of was don't fart in my nose." He's like, "I knew you would laugh, bro."
that's like my buddy. when I was drinking, like, I forgot, it's like a Sprite, one of those really seltzery like drinks. I don't know why I was trying to kill myself, I guess. But I was drinking it and he said out of nowhere, "Suck my ass." Just like that. And it went like I felt it in my brain like it's like
Dude, it
I
burned your eyes. It
yo, I
burned.
thought I like my brain exploded, man. It's like when you get a brain freeze and you're like riding
Yeah.
through the pain and then you go in for another sip and it's like, why are you doing it to yourself?
Yes. Yeah, dude. That's like it's insane sometimes because like it always seems to happen when you least expect it. You know, like you're just chilling most of the time, and somebody will just say something just like that. There's a dude that works for me. He's been with me 5 years or so, and a lot of times we'll ride in a truck together. And dude, I'll just wait for him to take a sip of something and say something because I know it's gonna burn. Dude, he starts coughing, it comes out of his nose, and he said every damn time. Well, it's like now I'm looking for it, dude. Like you showed me your hand a little bit. I want to make sure I just keep capitalizing on this thing. And that's what we ended up doing, dude. We still do it. It's like a thing just between him and I. You try to get something to come out of somebody's nose because it ain't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And sometimes those little anomalies in the day, like stuff coming out the wrong way, there was stuff supposed to go in or where it's not supposed to. When you're in a truck riding along doing physical labor, that shit makes stuff worth it. That'll make the whole day worth it at some point.
I do that to my buddy when he's got to piss really bad. Like I remember one time I literally, dude. All right, so I didn't want to go see the Avengers because it's like a 3.5 hour movie. I don't feel like having to get up and tell
Which
people
one? Which one? Which Avengers?
Endgame.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't want to keep telling people to get up. So you move out of the way. I gotta pee. Move out of the way. Sorry, excuse me. And you have to move past
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So we drank like 32-ounce Slurpees in this whole theater. Next thing you know, we're going like, I need to go to the bathroom. I ran out of the theater first, dude. There was a line so fucking long where I was like, we're just gonna have to drive to your house. He lives about 20 minutes away. I'm like, dude, we got this. So we're driving, and I mean, right on his street is like right when it hits you, where it's like it's gonna happen now or never. I don't know why that whole thing was like manageable until that moment, but as soon as we hit his street, dude, I stop at the stop sign. He does something. He's like, dude, if you don't get out, I'm gonna piss all over this car. And like he said it, and it hit me in such a way that I accidentally hit the car into like I don't know if it was like neutral or reverse, but we
Yeah.
started going backwards, and like it jerked me in the seat. And I swear to God, dude, I had to throw the car in park and just get out in front of his house and start peeing. His
Go.
mom's like, you couldn't have waited five, like you're not even 5 feet away from the house. And I'm like,
Been so long. It's been
don't look at me.
dude, there's no pain like that, dude. And not like, not like number one, but number two. Like we're pretty rural, like I told you. And like I think we're rural, but when you go to Iowa, there's like 8 people in that whole state, dude. So it's like it's forever. If you're not on the main road that goes through Iowa, there's an interstate goes this way and then one goes through the bottom. So it's like a big T. Out in those other areas, no. It's 20, 30 miles between what you hope is a functioning gas station that may have a bathroom maybe on the outside. And that's fine if you're a dude and you're going number one. Don't matter. You just pull over. You don't see anybody anyways. But when it's number two and it's the winter time, there's been times, dude, a couple times it was really close. But one time in particular, I remember being on in my seat trying to find a spot to take a shit out there. And like not just like pull over and do it. Like I wanted like it was freezing out. It gets like super frigid, bro, out here, and it's wind's always blowing in Iowa. It's coming from Oklahoma. So like, I, what I was doing was keeping one hand on this armrest, dude, and then like one foot down on the ground
Leverage.
and like trying to keep myself up, bro, and hold on to the steering wheel, like just trying to get just long enough, dude. And it was like doing one of these ones where it's like it wants to
Playing peekaboo.
kind of, yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, like muscles are being used that don't ever get used for this kind of thing. And I remember going into the only gas station I had, and the guy's like, and I was like, I need your bathroom. He's like, bathroom customers only. I said, well, dude, I'll buy something. No, I just kept going. Boom, went right on in there. Just got in. Pretty soon, it was like, you buy something. Like, yeah, dude, I'll buy something. You're gonna have to. I'll buy another roll of toilet paper probably because it's gonna be empty in here. And it's just funny that they can see the desperation on your face, but at the same time was like, you're gonna have to buy something. I was like, I know, fine, I'll buy something. When did that become the currency for using a toilet? It's like, listen, you can go in here, but you have to buy something. There's no number amount. Like it could be, hey, spend $50 on some snacks, or hey, they're over there in the clearance spot. There's an outdated thing of M&Ms that used to be brown, but now they're kind of whitish. Go ahead, buy those, whatever. There's no guidelines. It's just buy something,
Give me a
and a lot of
stick of
times it's
Slim
buy
Jim,
something
Jesus.
before. Yeah, yeah, and he was gonna guard it, dude, but I already kind of had a turbo boost like to get me there.
I'll give you two stories. One, you can either hear the story of the weirdest interaction I've ever had while trying to get a dump going, or two, which is my best dump credit to date.
Let's do the distraction.
Okay, so this was the kind of like similar to your story. We had to buy something, so I
Yeah.
had to go and actually like I mean emergency. And my buddy's like, "Yo, my buddy's working over at the 7-Eleven. It's John. Just go in there. It'll be easy. He'll give you the key. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to spend any money." I'm like, "All right, sweet." Yo, we walk in here, he wasn't there for like 10 minutes. We're searching the whole store, like screaming in the back, John, 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 I gotta use the bathroom. John, can you come out here, John? Yo, this dude was in the freezer where the drinks are, just
Yeah,
high as shit, sitting there, like contemplating life. Like, I'm like, is he reading the labels? And I open up the door. I'm like, John. He goes, what's up, man? And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I need to use the bathroom. And he's like, oh, dude, I came in here. It's hot out. It's hot out. It's cold in here. I like it in
dude,
here.
dude. We did that same thing. Iowa story. My dad and I were together, middle of nowhere, but it wasn't a big deal. No, there wasn't like a major, um, you know, BM emergency. There was nothing going on like that. What we stopped. It was my dad and I. My dad's like, I'm gonna use the bathroom. I said, all right, I'll pump a little bit of fuel in here. Pump a little bit of fuel in. My dad's in the bathroom. I walk in, and a guy whose skin looks like mine owns the gas station, and I was looking around. I was like, man, where the heck's my dad? And he's like, hey, can I help you? I said, yeah. I said, I'm looking for my dad. So I'm pretty sure he's in the bathroom. No, he's not. Okay. I can see every corner of this store. Like, I'm pretty sure he's in the bathroom. No. So I go to the bathroom, right? And he's like, somebody in there. I said, yeah, my dad. He's like, no, that's not your dad. So he's playing with me, and I'm like, well, maybe it's not my dad. He started convincing me that it
We're
wasn't
gonna
him.
find out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that then, because it had him and her on the bathroom, the
Yeah.
dressed guy and just the guy wearing slacks. And and I was like, well, dude, I'll just wait. And he's like, what's your name? I said, Marvin. No, it's not. And I was
Now
like,
he's really fucking with you,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. And I'm like, no, it definitely is. He's like, what's your dad's name? I said, his name's Marvin as well. No, it's not Marvin. I said, well, I'm pretty sure it is. Who in the bathroom? I said, I don't know. You told me it's not my dad. It's not Marvin, he said. I was like, well, then it's not my dad. I turned like I'm going to walk out. My dad, I hear the bathroom door open. Right as I'm ready to go back out to my truck, right? I'd given up at this point. I turn and I look. My dad walks out, kind of looks at me. The guy behind the register just goes, dude, he put threw his head back, just loving this game.
Yo,
Like
he's a
he was so
psychopath or he's on
sinister.
drugs.
Dude, he was so sinister. It was the most sinister thing I'd ever seen. And then he looked at me and was just going, like he got me in his brain. Like he pulled this crazy stunt off. But to me, it was just like, you're crazy. I'm just leaving.
How
But
much
to
paint
him,
did you sniff this morning?
yeah. Yeah, dude. That was my story with like the owner or the person that worked there. Just crazy. It's crazy times, man.
It's
You
like
know?
the woman laying out in the asphalt. You just gotta pray to God nobody sprays over you and Mark's speed bumper draws a yellow line on you.
Yeah, that would really be bad. Unless the paint's like, has a nice aroma to it. And maybe that lady would really enjoy it.
I made the mistake of when masks first started being issued everywhere that I drew a smiley face and Sharpie on my mask and I sniffed Sharpie the
Yeah.
whole fucking time.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it, especially if I I was kind of curious, like what kind of masks would come out, and there's been like some creative ones, but like I feel like creatives kind of dropped the ball on the mask thing.
I will send you a mask that'll change your whole game up. Ready? So I'll send it to you after this. It
Yeah.
is the alien, the little monster thing that clamps onto people's faces,
Yeah.
and it's clamped on to your mouth like a mask, and the tail wraps around the back of your head, dude.
Get
It is so
out.
sick, man.
That's sick. All right, I like that one. That's kind of what I was hoping for with stuff like that, but I haven't seen too much. Like, it got so politicized that that's what started going on masks out here was just, like politicized stuff, and I
It's
was
like
like,
advertising. People want to sponsor all their products they have. Like I sell masks for my podcast and stuff, but I'm like, even then, I'm like, I'm not gonna buy one. I don't expect you to. Jesus, I
yeah,
just,
yeah,
I hate that. I either wear like I wear my work one, but like they're not. Dude, you get so much. I know the worst thing to complain about is like chin acne and stuff, but it's like all my sweat glands are in my fucking nose, so it's like
yeah,
I'm
and
just
you're
breathing in
breathing.
sweat.
I know, and you're like, you're breathing it there, keeping it warm, and there's like dew in there, and vapor, and you're just like, come on, man, like there has to be some kind of counter. It can't be all positive. There's negatives coming from this crap.
The only positive I see like about the whole wearing a mask situation is I don't use regular toothpaste. I use kids toothpaste. So
Thin
I was
mints. No, thin mints.
fuck Thin Mints, man.
Yeah.
Peppermint patties, I toss them in the same category. Even strike me different with a Klondike bar too. I'm like, nah. Um, but with I use child's toothpaste, so when I buy at the store, I'm getting a toothpaste. It has unicorns on it, and sometimes it has little watermelons on it. Yo,
Mhm.
that shit is banging. I'm smelling that all day. I'm
What
happy
one?
about that.
What one?
It's
The
called
watermelon?
there's bubble fruit and then there's watermelon, which is like supposed
Oh,
to be like watermelon bits. It's like Starburst. I'm like, yo, this is if they had this when I was like an actual child and not some shitty Batman toothpaste, it just had Batman on the front, it was still
yeah,
minty.
yeah. Yeah,
I would
yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't have problems with my teeth today.
I got you. Well, I remember back in the day. Um, the other thing is candies, dude. Candies used to be a lot cooler back in the day. Like they'd come out with all kinds of weird ones. Now, when we go get candies, it's pretty much the staple ones that have been there forever. But I had that kind that was like sweet tart, like goo that come out. There
Oh
was
yeah,
kids,
the rope
there was
thing.
kids in my class brushing their teeth with that stuff, bro. There were kids that was sipping on that like 40 ounces out in Compton, bro. Kids would just be like, and you'd see them like get a rush, bro, like, ooh, because you were just like the most
Like
concentrated
whippets.
amount of sugar, dude. You were just like, and you just like, who can slurp this sucker? Looked like a tube of toothpaste, but it was clear and it had this sweet tarts make them now. I know they do because they got them over here at Dollar General, bro, down the street. So I
Back
know.
in the day with the chalk cigarettes that you would be
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They had some cool. Did have some cool stuff back in the day, but some people will be ripping off those little nick and lip powders, bro, whatever those are called, where you like you lick the candy stick and then dip it in that powder, and then like some of the kids were having like pixie stick bags, and you'd be like pull them out of their backpack, bro, and you'd be on the bus like taking hits of these sugar pixie sticks, and dude, there were some kids sniffing pixie sticks, and then they would
Yeah.
sneeze, bro, and it'd be like red. It looked like almost like a impressionist painting on the back of a bus seat because it was just all like blowed over pixie sticks all over the place. But dude, candy used to be like badass.
It
I
was like
remember people like taking taffy, bro, and it'd be like, whoo, and you could tie a knot in it, dude. Make a sculpture like a balloon animal out of it.
I used to go
Now
to
it's
the
just
movies and get like snow caps, the little chocolate
yeah,
things, and I'd be
dude. The
done with
movies
it
have
in
that shit. Yeah, I
I
know.
would I would be done with it in like a minute. And my grandfather gave me the best advice that I still use to this day. He goes, "Get juji fruits." I'm like, "Why would I want to be in pain when I'm eating candy?"
Yeah,
He
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
"Just trust me, dude. I only got 5 pieces in, and I was still picking that thing out like a week later for dinner,
Yeah.
dude."
Plus, like if you bite down hard enough, it keeps your mouth shut, so you'll be quiet for the movie. So, Grandpa's probably had that figured out. He's like, dude, tell him put three in. He's gonna be 20 minutes before he even says a word. I guarantee you, bro.
That thing
But
was
I like the cookie dough, bro, from the movies. Like,
okay.
what I'm talking about, the
Yeah,
cookie dough with the chocolate cover, and then like pour it on the popcorn and stuff. But yeah, I since like I've went away from all the snacks and sugars and pop and stuff like that because I don't know, dude. I just don't trust it anymore. The like I'm getting older now, bro. So it's like I can start to like see things, and like I wonder if it was because of my diet and then I'm pretty sure that it was probably because of my diet, because I don't really have very many bad habits at all, like as far as health wise, besides eating back in the day just whatever the f I wanted to eat, and it would be like, oh, cookie dough, man, there's only like a little bit in this bag, I better get two. Now we got this badass thing, and like the more really, I'm gonna blame Netflix documentaries. The more Netflix documentaries on food I watch, pretty soon I'm gonna be eating air like that lady you were talking about. You'll have to message me and be like, Marvin, why don't you exist anymore? Like,
Well,
well, dude,
that
I had a
was
hair
that
diet.
was my theory on food reviewing, because it was like, if you notice, like one of the top pages on Instagram is like food pages. It's like seeing the most like disgusting, beautiful, amazing food that you wouldn't eat yourself, but you would love to just see pictures of it to like salivate over. And I was like, that's what people are getting their fix from. It's like why Man versus Food was so popular. You get to see a person take on a challenge that you know you could do, but you didn't want to do it because of calories or because of how it would
Right.
treat your body. I'm like, that's what it is, yo. We're just getting satisfaction of liking like a deep fried Oreo. And I'm like, damn, like, what's the world coming to?
Yeah, that's why that Guy Fieri's diners and dives and stuff was popular on the Food Network, because like not only was he wearing a bowling shirt like all the time and had just wild white hair, dude. Like, dude, I would took that hair. I'd take any hair, bro. To be honest with you, but
You
Guy
look good
Fieri.
bald,
Oh, thank you, sir. But Guy Fieri.
sir. Did you
Oh
just assume my gender?
no, I said Zer.
Okay, good man.
There, fair enough, right?
I did that when I
So
walked into a girl's bathroom. They moved the men and women at the theater thing. So I went
yeah,
in, like, had to pee, didn't even think about it. Walked in, there was a bunch of like females at the mirror. And I was like, oh my God, we're all in here together. And then I just stood there for a minute, like, get out.
yeah, dude, dude, that's isn't that the sinking feeling? Like when you go into the restroom and you're like, "Where's the urinal?" And then all of a sudden you're like, "This is the women's." I know it's the women's, and you like try to go out and you're just like hoping that there's not a female either there in there or going to turn the corner and see you, and you can just make it out.
That stopped for me last month. I went into Wawa. There was a dude taking a dump in the men's bathroom. Went right in the woman's, sat down. And as soon as I sat down, I mean, cheeks hit the seat. A woman walks in. I was like, fucking figures. I literally just went. She was in there for 15 minutes. I tried to wait for her to leave. I said, you know what? I got to get to work in 10. I just literally opened up the door, washed my hands at the sink, looked over at her, gave her the head nod, and just kept washing my hands and then walked right out. So I don't give a shit anymore.
Do like we got a gym here, but it's really, I mean, for from the gyms that I've been to and different things, it's small. Do you have that at your gym where like people just use the bathroom? Like at ours, like it's just like it seems to be less um I don't know, outlined at a gym because people are just like, dude, we gotta go. And even the females are like, they are gonna use the males if the females and the males. It's like we're just here pumping iron, taking pisses. Let's get
I
this.
told my supervisor this because I saw her and her hair was wet and she was coming out of the gym. Like she was walking by the front desk. I'm like, "Did you just take a shower here?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's fucking disgusting." She's like, "Well, I actually prefer it because like they're pretty clean here." I'm like, "No, I'm telling you, I've seen more old man dick in the first month I've worked here than the 8 years at my other gym. I hadn't seen one old man penis. Dude, I saw the weirdest interaction, and I'm like, it's so weird how people normalize that. We're like, I'm going into the bathroom to wash my hands and there's just an old guy just drying himself out in the open. Like,
I
I'm like,
know.
what the fuck? And then the next day they come up to me, good morning. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to, you know. But then I saw a dad that was in there and his son was in there and his son was complaining that he was going to get his gym membership terminated because he wasn't following the rules. And they're just talking, his dad's naked, drying his balls off and talking to his grown ass son who's like a year younger than me. And it's like a normal interaction. I'm like, and I walked over to my supervisor and said, I don't know what it's like with your family and what you do with your family, but to me, and I explained the situation, I'm like, that's fucking weird. And she goes,
Yeah.
it is weird. I'm like, right? Like he was normally talking to his son. It's like when you kiss your kid on the lips, by the time they're 10, it's a questionable offense.
Yeah.
And I was freaking the hell out.
There's a grace period there where eventually it's gonna be like, listen, it's cheek time if you're gonna be kissing your kids. It's cheek time. And even like now, I'm getting like my boy when we went to the gym, like when we first got there, that happened. Like we went into the shower, there wasn't a lot of people there. You had to go through the shower. I don't shower at the gym. You had to go through the shower to get to the lockers to get your stuff back on because there was a pool there or whatever. And like I just remember going around the first corner and him like my boy's like, like what is it? He's like, and there's this dude showering, and he's like, Spew! Went off around the corner, and I go over there, and I'm like, he's like, is that okay? I said, some places okay, some places not. He's like, I don't like that. He said, next time I'll just change out here. And I was like, oh, all right. And like that's how we are. Like I don't know where it got normalized hanging out with your wangins out. That's just not
I
my thing.
work
Do
1
not
a
make an effort to cover,
I
you know.
work 1 a.m. till around around noon.
Yeah,
So I have my breakfast at like 7, and
yeah.
that's a large amount of people come in. So I was like, all right, before I eat my sausage and eggs and all this stuff, I'm gonna walk into the bathroom. I'm gonna go take a piss real quick. Walk in there, see a dude's dick, literally come back, close up my food. My supervisor's like, "You're not gonna eat anymore?" I'm like, nah, I lost the taste
I'm
for it.
switching to sugar smacks now, bro.
I'm gonna
I'm
tear up
gonna
the
be the
toilet
honey
bowl.
smacks now. You know what? My appetite switched for honey smacks, dude. It's a weird thing. Like when somebody says something because they didn't know they shouldn't say it when you're in a group of people,
Yeah.
but the people that know you shouldn't have said it, there's that weird vibe that comes off, and it's like you can feel that tension. That's how it feels when you're in a gym and you just like see somebody. It's like, yeah, if they were uncomfortable, I would feel more comfortable that they were uncomfortable. If they weren't like, or like turned away. But for somebody just to be washing and flopping, nah,
I got a
I'm
complaint
good,
on me.
bro. I'm
My
good.
s-
I'm good.
my supervisor brought up to me. She goes, "Did you say something to somebody at the urinal?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And she goes, "What'd you do?" I was like, "I walked over. There's 3 urinals. Walked over to the one all the way to the right. Dude walks in. Where do you think he
Oh,
fucking
not
went?
that dude. Not
He
that
went
guy.
right in the
Not that
middle.
guy.
I literally, and I'm the type of guy that's like, I'm a shy pisser. So, like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to do a math problem, be able to go. But, dude, this dude went up right beside me. And I literally look over, I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And he just looked at me, goes, "What's the issue? You afraid to pee or something?" I'm like, I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
midway right now, and I'm just about
Yeah.
to pull. And I went back out there. Next thing you know, he complained about me. I'm like, I don't care. That's a questionable offense too.
My buddy makes memes for like the asphalt industry, and he owns a company uh, out east by you actually, but north of Mass or in Mass. But anyways, he has that like he has a meme where it's a row of urinals, and there's a guy walking in, and then on the next side of the meme, that guy's standing next to the guy that was there in the very first picture, and his head's turned with like the voice, the talking box, and it
Yeah.
says, "You like concrete?" Like that, like that's what the guy that came in went all the way over and stood next to him on a row of 20 urinals where there's no one pissing, and stood next to him and says, "You like concrete?" But he's replaced it with a bunch of shit since then. But yeah, that made me laugh, dude. Just thinking like that's the kind of to have a meme that even is that.
That's the questions you get when it's some dude that
Yes,
comes up to you next to you at a urinal. He
yes,
asks some random shit like,
yeah.
"How's your
It
kids
hasn't
doing?"
just
It's like,
happened to you. You know what I mean? Like it ain't just happened to you. Like that's everybody thinks that guy's weird that walks all the way up to you on a row of 20 urinals and pisses right next to you.
I used to think the small one was for like little kids.
Yeah,
It's for short people, like the
yeah,
lower, the small people. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I've lived my whole entire life thinking that was for small kids and that was actually for small people." And he goes,
yeah,
"Yeah, those are my toilets."
yeah, yeah. But I'm cool with it. That doesn't bother me, except when they turn around and they're just deucing in it. That happens sometimes. People deucing urinals. So when I see like we went to Chicago and I seen a deuce in the little one, in the short one, and I was like, listen, chances are probably high that a kid came in and did that. Chances are probably higher that a full grown adult come in and did that. But imagine if you were the little dude coming in to take a whiz, bro. And the only urinal that fits your stature has a dookie in it, man. You're just like, come on, man.
You gotta have
Like
somebody come around and pick
real,
you up.
bro. Come on. Like whoever I'm gonna say whoever did the dookie was extra insensitive to short people because they don't have another option. They're gonna have to be like, well, I'm gonna have to go in the stall now. Can't even use a urinal.
Honestly, we should just phase out urinals and just have stalls. Honestly, I'd probably pee more time sitting down than I do standing up.
Dude, I wish I could show you this picture of a urinal. There's a place here. It's like a tourist attraction called the House on the Rock Resort. It's known like worldwide. Whatever. Except maybe if you're 22 and you live in Maryland, you probably haven't heard of it. But when you go into
You
the
described me perfectly,
when
like legit.
when you go in, there's like three segments. A guy used to own it, an architect. It's full of weird stuff he's collected from all over the world. He passed away, whatever. They built this crazy room onto it and then built a huge boiler room that you get to walk through. There's all kinds of old cool stuff, the world's largest carousel, yada yada yada. But for me, the coolest thing is you go to the first bathroom after this, um like the original house, and it gets to like quirky kind of library. There's all kinds of weird stuff in there. But when you go to the bathroom, there's a urinal that looks like, um like those urinals that go full from top to bottom
Yeah,
where your feet
yeah, yeah.
are, so you get pee on your shoes. But if you imagine one of those urinals that would go into a corner, right? So it's a 90-degree angle. And like, all right, that's okay. I can fathom that. But imagine those back to back so that you're facing whoever you're facing on a 90-degree urinal set just like that, dude. I wish I had a picture. All I could think was, if it's not uncomfortable enough to be side by side, imagine staring somebody in the eyes while you're taking a whiz and they're on the other side, having to look away from each other. It was the craziest thing I ever seen somebody try to justify using
I talk,
inside there.
I talked about this like 300 episodes ago, but there was a bathroom in my school where as soon as you walked in the door and turned around the corner, there was a urinal right on that part. So you would literally be able to see the person could just sit there and stare at you like this as you walked into the door. So it's like you literally you could see their junk if they backed up far enough. So I was like, "Where's the dividers that used to be there?" Now it's like they literally put these urinals side by side by side without a divider.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to turn yourself as a wall, and it's
Hmm.
like whoever designs these things, like what are you on? Are you like secretly like
Yeah.
I want
You,
everyone to see their dick?
you're close enough that like if a notification goes off on their smartwatch, you can feel the vibration.
I love that.
That's awkward. That's too awkward. That's too awkward for me. There's been bathrooms where like you go by the bathroom just right when somebody's got the door open, you can probably see a couple urinals. And like if I can see them walking by when the door flashes and opens, well, everyone probably can at some point. Well, sometimes people don't always put everything away before they start to turn around or do whatever. And it was like, why couldn't they just made not two urinals there? Why didn't that go into consideration when they were building this damn thing?
Or then they give you the answer like, "What, are you afraid of your sexuality?" It's like, "No, but once I see your dick, I'm never going to look at you the same. It's just it's never going to happen."
Now, that not only is an icebreaker, but that's like a melter. That's done. There's no barrier
There's no
anymore.
friendship being
There's no
rebuilt.
friendship. Cannot be formed. It just can't. You know.
Imagine fighting that guy, like getting into a fist fight with him. You copied my math homework, bro. It's like, yeah, but I've seen your dick.
Yeah, I did.
I'm not putting
Yeah,
up
that guy probably.
fisticuffs.
He once you said that though, he might put his dukes down. He might be like, you know what, you've suffered enough. That could be. It could be. That could happen. Or he would put him up even closer and be like, "Don't you say anything. Don't you say anything." It's gonna go one or two ways. Where he's like, "Oh, so I've already won," and just walks away. Or he's gonna be like, "Don't you say anything. Don't you say what you seen. Okay, okay." Or like you said, maybe he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You seen it. You're right. You're right."
I'm sorry, you're scarred. Well, Marvin, this has been awesome, man. Is there anything you want to promote, dude? Promote the podcast, promote the
uh,
business if you want.
no, dude, it's all good. I'm really excited just to have a conversation on a podcast where we had no bounds and no. There's a kind of a skeletal structure, to Blacktop Banter, my podcast. But when I get on with my friends, we start talking about some stuff once in a while. But it's been a real pleasure, dude, just because there's no outline and we can go from one thing to the other. And these are my favorite conversations to have. So when you asked, I was very hyped. And hopefully down the line, we come, things get better all around. And then we can have a discussion on how the heck the world is crazy now that things are better too.
For sure, man. I'll make sure I'm going to link everything in the description because people need to follow you, man. This has
Cool.
been awesome. We've talked about pee and poop, and those are my favorite kind of
I know,
conversations.
dude, and Sugar Smacks and Blacktop. So I mean,
You know,
everything's been covered.
it's like a box of cereal. It really has it all. You know, a spoonful of salmonella really makes it go down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's always a free gift inside, dude.
Yeah, not the type where you have to send away for shit. That
That's
is the dumbest thing.
that's the same as people asking you for your email at the cash register.